Welcome to today's session, the Performance Measures Showcase for Grantees. The purpose of this session is to provide a high-level foundational overview of the newly updated performance measures and to set the stage for the program-specific training that is coming up in June and July of this year. Next, I'd like to pass the speaker to Katie McCarty, Senior Consultant in Communications and our producer for today's session. Katie?
Hello, everyone, and thank you again for joining today. I would first like to go over a few WebEx tips before we start our showcase today. We encourage you to ask questions during the presentation using the chat feature on the right-hand side of your WebEx screen. We will monitor the chat and respond to your questions during the presentation. Please use all participants when sending questions. To use the chat feature, click on the chat icon, again on the right-hand side of your screen, and remember that by default, when sending a message, it will go to all participants. To send a private message to individual participants, select the drop-down labeled Send To and click the recipient's name. Today, we ask that you please use all participants so that we can keep this a collaborative discussion with the whole group. We will also have a Q&A section at the end of our time today, and that section will not be recorded. A few announcements before we get started. We will be sharing the link with you where the recording will be posted in the coming weeks. And again, it will be recorded throughout except for the Q&A section. You will receive an email containing a copy of the PowerPoint presentation once our session ends today. And finally, you will be prompted to answer several questions about today's experience at the end of this session through a feedback survey. And with that, I will pass it back to Rebecca.
Thank you, Katie. Today's presenters are Rebecca Stevens and Muniba Azam, Training and Technical Assistance and Help Desk Specialist, Ludmil Glud, Research Assistant supporting OJJDP, and Katie McCarty, Communications. Next, I'd like to pass this to Ludmil, who will talk about the Performance Management Team. Ludmil?
Thank you, Rebecca. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ludmil Glud, and this is our Performance Management Team. So our expertise. The OJJDP Performance Management Team provides performance measure expertise to OJJDP and OJP leadership, grant managers, grantees, and other stakeholders to promote both better data and quality customer service. We promote better data by effectively telling program stories, demonstrating their values, and informing OJJDP and OJP leadership and quality customer service and their decision-making processes. We provide performance measure process and process improvement by improving performance measures to enhance data quality and create more useful and accurate data that is essential for program management and measuring success. We lean into quality customer service, continuing to provide experienced customer support, live consultations, resources such as how-to instructions, and messaging services to grantees and federal staff on the PMT system and Just Grants transition. The OJJDP staff is comprised of our task lead, Cassandra Carter, research associate, Sharmisa Chowdhury, and Sarah Wasowski, myself, the research assistant, and our training and technical and help desk specialist, Rebecca Stevens and Muniba Azam. The roles and responsibilities of our team center on 4 main areas. Performance management, the OJJDP task lead oversees this. Data management and data analyzation, the research associates aided by the research assistant, analyze data, create performance reports, respond to data requests, and conduct semi-annual data verifications. Customer support and training and technical assistance. This is led by our training and technical assistants as well as a help desk specialist who work alongside each other to develop and conduct training for grantees and federal staff, as well as job aids, infographics, and other resources grantees and federal staff may need. In addition to supporting training activities, They also serve as experts on the PMT system and respond to user inquiries. I will now pass it back to Rebecca.
Thank you, Ludmil. Welcome to Performance Measures Showcase for Grantees. To make this session as interactive as possible, we will be using the WebEx chat box. To better understand your needs, please respond to the question on the screen using the chat. We will give everyone a minute to type their responses. If you would like to add the name of your organization and your location to the chat, that would be great as well. So, we want to know, and we appreciate your response. What is your biggest performance measures challenge? Does it relate to monitoring, tracking, or reporting in some way? Please go ahead and respond now. Okay, Suzanne, data collection and tracking. Heather, different collection systems. Mary from Nevada, reporting specifically what is wanted in the narrative portions. Amanda, different systems for different projects. Thank you, everyone. Jennifer, long-term outcomes. Kyla, not specific questions for programs. One size fits all questions. Okay. Christina, measuring cultural knowledge and tracking long-term. Okay. Good, good. Thank you. Thank you for these responses. And Wayne, SLO County, tracking participants over time and long-term outcomes. Thank you, Wayne. Excellent, excellent. Okay, the agenda for today is the review at a fairly high level of the new data collection process, the new performance measures reporting, and the newly revised performance measures. The invitation to this session included a copy of your program's newly updated performance measures. At the end of this session, we will provide contact information on accessing Helpdesk and provide you with an opportunity to ask questions. Once we open the floor for Q&A, the analysts will assist in answering your questions. If questions arise during the presentation, again, please feel free to enter them into chat, and analysts will respond during the presentation. The learning objectives for today's session are to increase engagement amongst all stakeholders, sharing information collaboratively with the goal of ultimately increasing reporting compliance. By the end of today's session, you will understand the need for updating the performance measures, and this is essentially the how and why performance reporting changed. You will also understand when to report your performance measure data and where to access additional information and supporting resources. We'll start with the new data collection process. The Office of Justice Programs, the federal agency OJJDP aligns itself to, is transitioning to a new grants management system called Justice Grants, or Just Grants. The new system is meant to be a one-stop shop where all aspects of the grant management process are under one system, instead of the multiple systems OJP used previously. This transition closed out the grants management system, the GMS, and will close out the performance measures tool, the PMT, where grantees report their performance measure data. From January 2022, all grantees will be reporting on the updated performance measures. Recently, OJJDP completed a year-long initiative to strengthen and streamline the Office's performance measures reported by grantees. And that's why we're here today. Now, in the past, due to technological resource and staffing limitations, OJJDP had not updated its program performance measures to reflect desired program outcomes and priorities for several years. At the time, the existing performance measures did not provide outcome-based data required to demonstrate program success, did not match recent research on best practices, and was inconsistent across program areas. So, for all of these reasons, we updated the performance measures, providing OJJDP with better data to demonstrate results and yield better decisions around program management. Other than reporting on the updated performance measures in Just Grants, you'll be able to upload all of your financial report planning documentation and other associated reports required by your solicitation and program managers into the new Just Grants system. The purpose of reporting performance measure data and uploading all associated reports is for you to communicate what has happened during the reporting period and to see that you are complying with the expectations for the award. We will now review the newly updated performance reporting requirements. This session will only focus on January 2022 reporting period. We understand that some of you might have a question about the upcoming July 2021 reporting. We will provide the July 2021 reporting guidance at a future date. For now, let's discuss the reporting requirements for next year. For this July 2021, all discretionary awards will start collecting their data on the updated performance measures. The data collection period on the new performance measure data will be from July through December of 2021. You will be reporting on the activities that occurred between July through December 2021 in the Just Grants system, July 2022. The Title II Formula Grant Awards reporting requirements. At your program-specific training, you will receive more definitive instruction and notification when OJJDP expects to start collecting and reporting on the updated performance measures. Note that this will occur once OJJDP finalizes the schedule. All Title II Formula Grant Awards collect data from October through September and report in December. The reporting guidance for December 2021 will be shared with grantees at a future date. Tentatively, for now, OJJDP anticipates that grantees will start collecting the revised performance measure data in October 2021 through September 2022 and report on these updated performance measures in the December 2022 reporting period. Grantees will receive training on the updated performance measures before they will be expected to start collecting the data. Your performance report at that time would then include both the updated progress reporting questions and the updated performance measures. Revised performance measures. I'd like to pass the presentation to Ludmil, who will give us some perspective regarding the newly updated performance measures as she discusses the how and why aspect of this change. Ludmil?
Thank you, Rebecca. So why update the performance measures? Our update accomplished several things, one of which was to ensure that all grantees who receive funding under one program will be reporting on the same questions. This increased performance measure alignment with OJJDP's overall mission and vision, provided federal staff with actual performance measures data, increased data integrity by improving the language and consistency of the performance measures across programs, and lastly, increased the collection of outcome-based data. So how were the performance measures updated? This was a year-long process to improve measures designed to collect data that OJJDP needed for program management. First, we started by defining program success and desired results. Next, the OJJDP PM team and program staff created program goals, objectives, and logic models for all funding streams and drafted performance measures, definitions, and questions for each program. We collaboratively produced consistent and shared measures and language across OJJDP's programs, since many of the old measures described activities and not outcomes. The new measures are designed to capture data that will inform the decision-making process, measure success and not compliance, reduce grantee burden, and tell your program's story. So how are these performance measures organized? OJJDP identified and organized the new performance measures to include type and category for ease of use and accessibility. Performance measures type was broken down into output measures and outcome measures. Output measures, these are product-based. Output is a countable product or service that your program provides or produces. The volume of work your program accomplishes, such as number of use served, number of trainings conducted, number of technical assistance requests completed. Outcome measures. These are measures-based. Outcomes are a change in knowledge, attitudes, skills, and/or behaviors that occur within an individual, family, agency, system, or community. These can be short or long-term. The performance measures category was broken down into overall measures, multi-program measures, and program-specific measures. I will now pass the presentation back to Rebecca, who will present these categories and provide us with a narrative example.
Thank you, Ludmil. In the overall performance measures category and the output measures type, we have this example. So for every program, you will be asked these same questions. Provided on this slide is an example of the new output measures taken from the Tribal Youth Program. By tracking the number of individuals served by population, the percentage of eligible individuals served by an evidence-based program, the percentage of eligible individuals served by a promising program or practice, and by tracking the number of training events held, data can be examined for trends as well as anomalies that will shed light on the challenges faced by the program. In the outcome measures type and the overall performance measures category, we have an example of outcomes measures that is overall across all programs. This example comes from opioid-affected youth. Tracking protective factors such as the percentage of eligible individuals who exhibited improved self-esteem and percentage of eligible individuals with improved parent-caregiver relationships supports the interests of the opioid-affected youth program. Tracking the data quickly as you go along helps energize both program managers and grantees when you see progress, as well as allowing both program managers and grantees the opportunity to notice any challenges and discuss them. In the multi-program performance measures category and the outcome measures type, we have this example. Now, we know that multi-program measures demonstrate the impact on 3 different populations. The first population is a shared targeted population. For example, children involved in the child welfare system, tribal youth. A second population is a similar service delivery method. For example, mental health services, prevention services. Or a third population, shared outcomes, youth provided with Defense Council would be an example. The protective factors depicted here come from 3 different programs: delinquency prevention, tribal healing to wellness, and tribal youth. In the program-specific performance measure, outcome measures type, we have the program-specific measures collecting data that align with a specific population, funded activity, or desired result. This is an example of emergency planning, which provides funding to support juvenile justice facilities. Under the emergency planning solicitation, OJJDP allocates funding and resources that juvenile justice facilities need to respond and recover from natural, technological, or man-made emergencies. The funds are used to cover the cost of equipment, implementing emergency preparedness programs, and training staff on emergency preparedness guidelines. As noted earlier, again, knowing the number of emergency planning for juvenile justice residential facilities, guidelines distributed, number of existing policies employed to address emergency preparedness gaps, etc., is helpful when tracking the data that is needed to make good, informed, outcome-based decisions. Next, we will briefly go over the resources and where to reach out for assistance. I would next like to introduce Muniba, our help desk specialist. Muniba?
Thank you, Rebecca. The documentation provided with this training includes a list of performance measures by program, and also this deck will be shared with you at the end of the session. Contact information for the PMT Help Desk and contact information for Just Grants. The PMT Help Desk is available to help you with any questions you may have about responding to the progress reporting questions or performance measures. You can contact us by calling the number on the screen or emailing ojjdpPMT@ojp.usdoj.gov. The OJJDP PMT Help Desk contact information, including the email, is available on the screen. Our office hours are Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, except for U.S. federal holidays. The PMT Help Desk returns emails and phone calls within 24 hours, so please don't hesitate to leave a voicemail or email even after business hours. If you have questions about the Just Grants system, for example, accessing the system, please call them between the hours of 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you experience any issues with Just Grants, please contact the Just Grants system using the number or the email address provided on the screen. Thank you. Back to you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Muniba. Okay, so watch your emails for additional information since additional program-specific training will be announced soon. The program-specific sessions will focus on your program and provide a discussion around issues, concerns, and best practices related to your award. This is a task-based training that is specific to the program and will occur in the June-July timeframe. We expect program managers will want to attend your program-specific training to provide support and lend expertise. We will use these sessions as an opportunity to collect data that will inform changes down the road, since collecting feedback now on the performance measures will inform the refresh cycle later, after the one-year pilot has occurred, and we have identified and vetted any changes or updates that need to occur. For now, no planned changes to the performance measures are being considered. And this concludes today's session. The purpose of today's session was to showcase the updated performance measures and provide a high-level overview of the process changes that you may currently be experiencing.